Welcome to episode 13 of the 200 Movie Challenge. We're pretty much a quarter of the way through, and we got some interesting films to talk about today, Soto. So
Yeah,
let's
we
not
do.
waste any time, and we're going to
Ooh,
start off with
okay.
you. What was the first movie that you want to talk about today?
Okay. Uh, so I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while. Admittedly, I have not really seen a lot of this director's movies. I'm aware of Terrence Malick. Um, I think I saw, oh my God, New World. It was that Pocahontas movie. I think it had Colin Farrell in it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Sounds right.
yeah, and that movie I saw a long time ago, and it was fine. I think I only saw it once. I do remember there being a very specific shot in that movie where the camera's kind of panning around to the characters, and it shows the Pocahontas character, and and in the background you just see like a random lightning strike, like as in the distance in the clouds, and it's all real. It's like a once in a lifetime shot. It looks amazing the way that like the lightning hits right as the camera is panning. Um, you can't plan shit like that, and that scene always stuck with me way more than the movie did. So I have an interest in watching the Thin Red Line we talked about, which is like 3.5 hours. So I don't know. I might have to take another vacation to watch that movie in order for me to have time. But I had always been aware of the movie The Tree of Life. Stars Brad Pitt and I believe Jessica Chastain as well, and Sean Penn is in it too. Terrence Malick again, just amazing cinematography and amazing director, and so I just had wanted this. I'd wanted to see this for a while. When I got the alert that it was available on Max, I wrote it down on my to-do list of being like, okay, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to watch it. It's only like a little over 2 hours, so it wasn't terrible. It was something I knew I could fit in. Uh, but it's hard for me, to really describe this movie. I guess if I had to, if I was at Blockbuster, right, and we're in line and you're a customer,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's about so Sean Penn's character is kind of reliving or rethinking about his life when he was a younger child and growing up under Brad Pitt plays the father and Jessica Chastain plays the mother, and he's kind of remembering growing up in that time era in Texas. I believe it was Waco, Texas. It kind of looked like it was in the 50s or so. It was kind of overbearing father and a nice mother, and then as he's remembering these things, his younger brother, it all starts with remembering his youngest brother dying at 19 and the family going through that grief. Then it goes into um shots of the beginning of the universe
Okay.
and sequences where like the universe is being created and the earth is being created, and then eventually life forms in the oceans, which leads to dinosaurs, and kind of dinosaurs evolving and just kind of going through life and everything, and then that's intercut with scenes of childhood and just random kind of things of being a kid. And so it, the best way that I could describe this movie, I'm not even sure I can call it a movie. It is a movie. I want to be
Well,
very
that's
clear
good.
about
That's good
that.
that
But
you watched a movie. That's the point of this. All right.
it's so difficult for me to describe it because it doesn't. I don't know if it has. We always talk about the 3 act structure. We're always asking movies to just adhere to it, so we can get through it. But it's almost like it's like watching an emotional like weather pattern. Um, it's like memory, prayers, grief in slow motion. It's almost like a planetarium show of grief. I don't, but like how that all mixes with like the beginning of time and stuff, and so it's hard for me to even recommend if this is something that I would have somebody watch. Like I'm glad that I saw it because as I'm watching it, I know I'm watching a movie that's done expertly and I know I'm watching a movie that's in the hands of a master. Um, I'm glad I saw it, but I might never ever see it again. Um, it's really more of a meditation than it is a movie, and that sounds really weird. And you're probably like, "This sounds like the most boring movie ever." Like the way I'm describing it, I'm not doing it
Yeah, I'm
any
not gonna
justice.
lie.
It's
I'm like,
incredibly.
I haven't sold me on watching this, but that's okay. I know that's the best part about this challenge is the different picks that we both been watching. But continue, please continue.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I don't know. It's like I went to church and therapy at the same time. I don't know how to really describe this. It's just a movie that you kind of experience and sit with at the end. You just kind of feel like it happened. I don't want to say anything negative about it. I think it's a piece of art, and it's not as shocky as something like Eraserhead, right? Eraserhead was downright disgusting to me. But I understood what David Lynch was doing and I'd seen other things that he did, but yeah, this movie was just a fucking mind trip. Um, and and then it just kind of ends, and then I was kind of left just in this weird haze. Um, so again, I respect it. Can't say I'd recommend it to you, or recommend it to anybody. It just depends on how much you're into these kind of films, right? These art kind of sort of descriptions about feelings and thoughts rather than having it be the classical three-act structure with some actors that do really really good jobs in it and director that's just absolutely fantastic. But it's just kind of a little bit out there for me. And again, if I'm ranking this, which is I guess what we're all kind of here talking about, like if I'm actually going to rank this movie, a very difficult time ranking it because as you're noticing, I'm having a very difficult time talking about it.
this is true. This is true.
But as
And
a I don't it's so I'm telling you, it's hard to describe without actually watching it. Um, because I can talk about just the things that happen, but it's just, again, it's more about feelings and dealing with grief. But if I had to rank it, this is so hard. But I'm actually gonna rank this. Um, I'm actually gonna rank this below Oppenheimer and above Sing.
so your new number
Um,
18.
yes, I'm actually gonna put that. I think that's where that's gonna sit. Um, just based on craft alone, and again, it's done very very well. And I don't think I'm ever gonna watch this movie again. But I can't. I've watched plenty of movies where I know it's a really good movie and I'll never see it again. And this is definitely um, that type of movie. It was an experience. It was kind of spiritual at times, and it definitely referenced a lot of things as far as what it is to be a boy and growing up, and what it is to be a boy, and then kind of put into those sort of gender specific ideals and roles as an American, and what's expected as a father, and what's expected as a mother, and all these kind of memories. And but I can't put it too high up the list because again, it's I wouldn't say it's one of the more enjoyable like movies I've seen this year. Again, to sum it up, respect without recommendation. That's the best way I can sum up Tree of Life.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, see, do you see why I started with this? Because as I talk about my second movie, and we'll get there, the tenor of the second movie and the discussion for the second movie is going to be on a totally different level. And if I had started with the second movie and I went to the Tree of Life, we would have ended this episode in such a strange place. So thank you for giving me the space. We're past it, and and we can move forward.
I feel that I really do not know what this movie's about, and I feel my head's going to be in a good space not knowing what this movie is about.
Oh, again, it'll find you when it needs to find you, if it finds you. Um, but this is not a movie that I would be like, "Hey, Chad, like
You need to
you
see
got to
this
check
right
this
now.
out."
Number
Yeah,
one
I mean,
rental.
if I was mad at you, I guess And I don't see that in a bad way, but if I just wanted to put you in a sad spot and just, I don't know, ruin your day, I'd maybe recommend this. But I don't know. I don't know if there's ever again, like I said, if you're a fan of Terrence Malick and you want to catch up on his film um blog and you want to complete that, I think it's a fantastic entry for a fantastic director. And I will be watching Thin Red Line and anything else I can get my hands on from him. So there'll be probably more reviews coming soon on those. But yeah, I kept thinking about this, and I'm like, there's no way Chad's gonna ever watch this movie.
No, but then again, there's most of the movies that both of us have watched. The others not most likely going to watch. You never know. There might come a time, but no. So Soto, let's get you in a different place. Let's get you in a different frame of mind right now. Why don't we just jump into your
Yes.
second movie? I already know what you
Okay.
watched and who's in this, and I'm kind of intrigued. So, let's bring it down. Let's
You
bring it
heard of this
back.
movie? Like,
No, I haven't
have you
heard of
seen
either of
any
these movies.
trailers for this?
No, no, I
Really?
did not. When you told me you saw this movie, I was like, okay. I do my usual. I pull up a thumbnail,
Hmm?
or whatever, good picture to put our faces on so it doesn't block the title. That's usually what I do right away. So yes, all I saw was the star and bees, and you've already. I'm going to joke about this. You kind of
Uh,
lost me at bees, but hold on. So Soto, I'm going to give you the floor. What's your second floor? Let's get you in a different state of
uh,
mind from the last movie.
Before I get to this movie,
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm gonna milk it, right? I just want to say on the record that if the single video for Tree of Life beats The Wizard, I am going to be fucking. I'm gonna lose my fucking
It probably,
mind.
a lot of our videos get those, there is a few that get the small views, but you know what? You never
I'm gonna
know.
lose my mind.
I mean, it's going to happen. Most of them get 7 or 8, so most likely it's going to beat the Wizard regardless.
Oh my
It
god,
just
this is gonna be
happens. I
my
mean, I think there
internal
might be a
struggle.
couple. I don't know. Recently, the few we've done, but we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. People need to know. They like to know what you're saying, and maybe that's why they're not listening to the end because they're like, "Oh God, Tree of Life, I don't know if I can handle this." Oh, Sing, I don't know if I can handle this. But they're like,
Uh,
Kung Fu Killer, I'm in. I need some action in my life. But anyhow, we're gonna.
of all the movies that we've done, this entire time that we've been doing this, this is the one that I had to rely on my notes the most of, and it was the most difficult movie for me to analyze, talk about, and rank. I don't know if there's going to be a movie that's going to be harder to deal with than Tree of Life. We'll see. We've got a long way to go in this year.
Mhm.
But thankfully, saw a movie called The Beekeeper. Now, this movie stars Jason Statham.
Mhm.
And if you are familiar with his work, obviously the first time I saw Jason Statham was in Snatch. Wasn't really an action star in that movie. Was just
No,
kind of witty,
good
and
movie.
it
Good
had
movie.
great dialogue. And I love Snatch. Snatch is another Brad Pitt movie, and Snatch is a movie that I think is hilarious. I love Benicio del Toro pretty much in everything he does, and this was great. But Jason Statham has been kind of morphed into this action star where he's pretty much the same guy in every movie. That's not bad. It's just that tends to happen with action stars, right?
Yeah, ever
So,
since the Transporter, in my opinion, I mean that was a long time ago. But yes, I agree with you.
but Transporter had a vibe, but then they've gotten dumber and dumber. Like there was like a mechanic one or something like that, and
Well,
then
he did like three
there
or
was
four of them. I mean, so yes. Anyhow,
wasn't there one where it's like he had to like keep his heart going
Crank,
too and stuff like
Crank,
that.
and then there was a
Crank,
Crank
thank you. Yeah.
two, which anyhow,
Wow.
yes, all these
But there's
movies.
definitely an audience for Jason Statham. There just is.
There is.
And so I'm going to give you the synopsis that I read while I was perusing Amazon Prime. And I noticed that it was number 10 in the US as I was watching. And I was like, The Beekeeper? What could this possibly be about? Jason Statham is a former military operative that also is now raising bees. Okay. He's also part of a secret organization called the Beekeepers, but we'll get to that. They operate outside the normal government the normal government budget, and they kind of do whatever they want. Have you ever seen the movie John Wick?
So no. I've not seen any John Wicks. I
You
know
haven't seen John Wick?
that. All right, we're getting no. Honestly, I will tell you. As we were doing this challenge, I'm like, I kind of want to see. I've seen scenes. You like obviously when you're perusing through TikTok whatnot, I have seen
Oh my
scenes. John Wick is
god.
one of those series that I know I
Oh my
missed
god.
because of when I left Blockbuster, and now it's not available anywhere. Like I think the third and fourth. So no, it's gonna be
Yeah,
on my radar. Don't get me wrong, I am looking, but I'm like, if I'm doing this, I need to start from the beginning, and I'm going full into it. So yes, I know I can get mocked, and this is why we're doing this because there's a lot of movies that I
I am.
probably should have seen. But no, I
Well,
have not
first
seen
of
John
all,
Wick. It came out after I left,
I
and I
did
could
not.
care less about movies. I shouldn't say I
I
care
did
less about.
not. I did not think that in our conversation because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bring up the John Wick angle, and of course, Chad will have already seen John Wick, and so that will set up how I'm going to discuss this movie. Because you don't need to see the other John Wicks, you just need to see the first one because the first one is where the magic is. Now, of course, the other ones build on the first one's story, but the first one's all you need. So with John Wick, when I sat down and watched it, I had zero expectations of that being a good movie. I don't know how much you know about John Wick, but something happens to John Wick in the movie that's a catalyst, and then he decides to kill everybody in the fucking movie, and he does it in a great way. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that.
I know something about his dog,
I'm
but I
just
thought that was a sequel, so I don't know. There might be something else. But yeah, you're right. Let's not say anything more.
That's the fucking first one. That's the first 30 minutes of the first one, and then that's basically what starts a franchise.
Yep.
It's that one thing that happens to him leads to him getting into all sorts of shit. But anyways, okay, so I was gonna say this is like John Wick but with bees. Okay, so
Oh.
yeah, so he has for reasons that I did not pick up on, he's been taken in by this older woman, and he's just kind of leading a quiet life, tending to his bees, harvesting their honey, doing doing it with a Jason Statham straight face. Um, no reason why, but it's a very nice older lady, and he's doing his thing, and they're living their little quiet life, and he thanks her, for taking him in, and nobody's ever taken care of him, right? That's the setup. And she's on her computer, and she notices that a virus pops up, or some virus notification pops up. She's like, "Oh, what the hell?" And it says, "Oh, call this number, and we'll help you fix it." Obviously, this old woman is about to get scammed,
Correct.
and so she calls this number, and it's like, and this is something I'm going to reference throughout this entire review. Okay, she speaks to the head of an evil call center. Okay. An evil call center that preys on older people not knowing how to use computers, right? And so he walks her through these things, and he's standing in front of all the employees, and he's like, "Watch how I'm going to steal all this woman's money," brings up all her bank accounts on the big screen. And she's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "I just need this information, and then we'll make sure we do this, and blah, blah. This is all part of your package for your antivirus software." And she's like, just following along. And then in one fell swoop, he wipes out all of her finances. And I'm talking like, even every account she has, and even an account that she has, it's a charity account, has about $2 million in it. Just totally wipes it out. And she goes in her bank accounts, and she realizes what she's done, and she's just beside herself. um can't believe this happened. Looks at the charity, and it's got $0, right? And so meanwhile, Jason Statham's just doing his B thing. And oh, I didn't even mention this part because it sets up the whole movie. So wasps, I learned, are very they're like a bee's natural enemy. So he like collects all these wasps in a bag to make sure, because they were like fucking with his bee colony, right? And he's talking to the old woman. He's like, yeah, he's walking with this big bag filled with fucking wasps, and she's like, "Oh, okay, like, oh, thank you so much for taking care of that." And he's like, "No, like a wasp will do A, B, and C to the colony, so I got to make sure it's good." She's like, "Oh, so what are you gonna do with those wasps?" And he's like, "That's between me and the wasp." Like, he's like, "I'm not gonna talk about that because that's my own personal business." I'm like, okay, what the fuck? He then proceeds to take this bag of wasps to his little work garage area, right? Opens up like the little opening at the beginning of the bag, and puts like what seems to be like a fluorescent tube in there, cracks it open, then puts a taser in the fluorescent tube so it electrocutes all the wasps that are in the bag. He could have killed them any other way, but he had a fucking personal vendetta against these wasps, and it dictates how he approaches every situation in the rest of the movie. So, come back, present time, the woman's just been scammed. She lost all her money. He's in his little garage. He has a jar of freshly made honey and writes her name on it and everything. He's like walking over to the house and he's like, okay, he's gonna give her honey. Oh wait, the lights are off. This is weird. He goes in there. He finds out that this poor old woman has basically she shot herself in the head. She committed suicide, and and her daughter happens to be an FBI person who's there too. So she catches him in the act and is wondering what he's doing. And so, through a series of circumstances, they find out that she was obviously taken advantage of by this company that's actually secretly a scam company and everything. And so Jason Statham, because he has the ability to find out where everything is because of plot, decides to go and hunt down this evil call center as revenge for preying upon the elderly and taking all their money. I'm not kidding. He even has this little thing where he's like, the elderly are the most vulnerable. Like, he goes to this whole thing and sets up his whole character, and then proceeds to literally just find people, blow shit up, set people on fire, and just fucking cause mayhem all the way up to the White House. Like, I'm telling you, like, this movie escalates to where he's trying to assassinate the president of the United States. I
So
am
hold on,
not
hold on.
fucking kidding.
The president has something to do with these call centers. All right, no, all
Yes.
right, okay. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And
All right.
bees.
If you ever want to
Wasp
see it,
bad, bees good. Got it. That's what
and also bees. Here is my major issue with this film. It is not the absurdity of Jason Statham finding these evil call centers, which I loved because we all know how I feel about call centers. But the fact of the matter is that when I saw this thumbnail and I was looking at this movie, I was like, you know what? I hope that he's killing people and kicking ass and at the same time giving us bee facts. And he's telling us about bee facts and he's using bees, maybe even using bees to kill some sort of people, right? Like he has like bees, like bee traps and shit like that. I'm gonna spoil it. He doesn't. There are bee facts spread throughout the movie through side characters like the FBI agents like reading about bees because they're trying to find out why what makes this guy tick. Which, by the way, Jason Statham has no character development. He's just Jason Statham and he's just kicking ass in every sort of way. He's never challenged. He doesn't change. He's just 100% on a revenge tour, right? And so yeah, he goes on this rampage and gets revenge for this old lady, and a severe lack of bee themed kills and attacks for this movie are what kind of just made me a little bit sad and kind of killed the potential. I enjoyed this stupid movie, but again, I was hoping for it to be a little bit campier. I didn't think it would take itself as seriously. Um, but if you have nothing else going on and you want to watch a movie that's a little bit over 90 minutes and you like Jason Statham, I highly recommend it. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the kills are pretty decent. One guy gets chained to a pickup truck that goes off a bridge, and then obviously he drowns. So that was kind of funny. Um, yeah. So the Beekeeper. As far as where I'm gonna rank
this
this,
has got to be good.
uh, it's not gonna be as crazy as you think because I found it entertaining,
I think I'm gonna
but
put it right here.
this
I'm
is
looking
I
at the
wouldn't
number
say
right
it's
now. Let's see if I'm right.
I would I wouldn't say it's great, but I'm putting this just above Kung Fu Killer. That's what I'm putting this on my list.
All right,
You
let's
have it
move
in a
it.
different place?
Oh, I thought it was gonna go a little. I don't know. I thought this was gonna be one of those surprise higher ones. I did assume you were gonna put this over because I was looking at Kung Fu Killer. And I'm like maybe, probably. And I'm like yeah, but yeah, a few spots. I'm always a few spots higher, but yeah. So your new number 20, basically. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's above Kung Fu Killer. It was fucking fun. Sarah and I laughed throughout the whole fucking time. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then it just ends in the most ridiculous way. Like he has a swimsuit, he just disappears into the ocean. And when it ends, we just started fucking laughing. We're like, and then it ends. Oh my god, that's just the ending of it. Like it was a wild ride. I mean, John Wick is classic and way better, but somebody saw John Wick and was like, "What if John Wick but bees?" Um and that's what this movie was. But yeah, it's a Jason Statham movie called The Beekeeper, okay? One of the lines in this movie, like the guy has Jason Statham in, I don't know, some sort of lock or something, and he's like, what is it, to be or not to be? And Jason Statham goes, I choose to be.
Oh my god.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I know you're
That
not.
happened.
I know you're not. And
I'm not
oh,
mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I saw Snakes on a Plane in the theater. It was a great theater experience.
yeah, for what it
Everybody was
definitely
hooting and
was,
hollering.
100%.
Yeah, it wasn't at the level of fucking Chicken Jockey or anything like that where people are throwing shit at the fucking screen. But like at the time, Snakes on a Plane was a great audience movie and no one took it seriously. Because you don't take it seriously, you can really enjoy it. And so, we talked about this so many times with Rotten Taste where it's just the shitty movies that you like. I'm more interested in those because sometimes those can be more fun. And if you have a free Friday night and you got nothing going on, you got a couple drinks and you're with your girl, turn this movie on and just have a fucking good time. It's not that serious.
Sometimes that's all we need, a not so serious movie about bees and
No,
a man
I,
that
I find myself.
brutalizes wasp. Why? Just because.
Well, we just hit play on it, dude. We saw it and I said, "Fuck it, I want to go on this ride." And it delivered in the way that it wasn't too deep or anything. Um, will I watch it again? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'd watch it again before I'd watch The Tree of Life.
And yet the tree of life is higher than the beekeeper, so that's pretty interesting.
Um,
That's the way our minds
it's a,
work, but
it's a
better movie.
it's a
So
complicated situation, Chad. And again, I'm happy I did Tree of Life first and then The Beekeeper. Now you can understand because if we finished on Tree of Life and then you had to go into your movies, the flow would be fucked up.
sometimes the flow does get fucked up, but it's because we watch such random movies. And so let me
We
tell you
sure do.
about the journey to the two I watched this week. And I did want to watch
Please.
three. And so let me give a quick backstory for, I mean, obviously you know this and anyone that's been around. So Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out a couple weeks ago. Now, I'm not going to talk about any controversies or anything about that, but the movie bombed. And I started thinking, like, how bad are some of these Disney remakes, the live action remakes? I know not of them all technically live action, but I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I get it. People are like, just stick with the originals, but I'm like, sometimes you want to create something new, for the new generation, whether you like it or not.
Mhm.
And I started thinking, I'm like, all right, how bad? How bad are a lot of these remakes? And are they worth it? Because we kind of talked about this in one of our Rotten Taste episodes. If you remember Roadhouse, we're like, is this worth it? Was there just a point to it? And it was definitely
Do
different.
I remember Roadhouse?
Roadhouse. But so I
No,
was
I
like, you know what,
forgot.
screw it. I put on Disney Plus, and this is the first one I watched is one that I kind of actually wanted to see. And before I get to that, this might be going on for a few weeks. So the only remake I can't technically review is The Lion King because I actually did watch that last year or something. I think I watched it at my mom's. I'm like, all right, let's check it out. Quick synopsis: it was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I don't really remember much about it, but you know what? It was just there, and I'm like, I didn't have a problem with it, but I'm not gonna go see it again. You know what I'm saying? So
Wait,
I'm
wait,
gonna.
wait, wait. I have to ask. Even Aladdin, like,
Oh,
isn't there like
we're
a
gonna
live
get to.
action Aladdin?
Hold on. Well, let me tell you the two that I watched. Let me start with the first one
Oh my god, no.
because
Okay, all right. I'm
I
stuck.
don't know if I'm gonna watch them all. I did want to watch a handful, and I'm like, I gotta see the experience. But the very first movie I watched and was in 2020 came out Mulan. Part of the reason why I chose Mulan first, there's a couple reasons. So we kind of talked about it. I know we talked about doing a fun debate about Disney films, about which era is the best. And I know me and you kind of agree, maybe because when we
Hmm.
grow up that 90s, like 89 to like 95, 96 era, is probably they just hit banger
Oh,
after banger after banger.
no doubt. No
So
doubt. No
that's a
doubt.
debate for another day. but Mulan might be, and I say this because there's a few, but Mulan might be my favorite Disney movie. I love the music. I love the story. Don't get me wrong.
We're gonna have to unpack Mulan, by the way, because I need to ask you a few questions about it.
Oh, we're gonna unpack. We can
You can go
unpack it
ahead,
now. We're
but
doing this.
I need to talk. I need to talk about, especially I need to talk about the relationship between Mulan and the dude that they fall in love. She falls because I have questions, but go ahead.
Are you talking about? Well, I'm just going to talk about the live action here. Maybe maybe when we do our live podcast, we can talk. We'll see. We'll see what comes up. But anyhow,
You know what? Perfect.
no, there. So anyhow, and I need to rewatch Mulan, but I used to play it all the time in Blockbuster, along with a lot of other Disney movies. I did play Lion King, a lot of these. So, like I said, I feel like Mulan is because I love the music, I love the story.
Right.
So when I heard they made a remake of Mulan, I'm like, especially when I hear that it's not a musical. So I'm like, okay, is this gonna be good? Because now, yeah, they just focus on story, they focus on action, and I'm like, all right, good or bad? And I'm like, whatever. So first of all, there is no Mushu, voiced by Eddie Murphy, the little dragon. Obviously,
The dragon?
there's no
Oh,
dragon in this, because they take
wow.
out a lot. I say the campy stuff, though the martial arts scenes, um, reminded me a little bit like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style. Just the flying.
Okay.
So I was very into it. The stars also has Donnie Yen in it. Also has Jet Li in
Love
it,
it.
which I did not even recognize him at first. He plays the Emperor, and I'm like, holy shit. And I know it's been a while since I've seen a Jet Li film, so I know he's gotten older. I just didn't know. So, yeah, so at first I was like, am I going to like this? I was so worried because, yeah, it wasn't a musical, but I did love the story, and this sucked me in. Now, there's only a couple small changes, and that by that I mean they added an extra villain to this story. Some people loved it, some people didn't. There's kind of a witch character, a female antagonist. So that was kind of new, and I'm like, all right. The one thing I had a problem with, and I don't know how much you remember about the Mulan the movie, is they kind of introduced this thing called. This is where I'm going to get a little sad. Chi. Now, basically it's I hate to make it sound like the Force from Star Wars, but it's going to sound like that. But it's like this magical thing that people can. I don't want to say move objects, but they enhance their karate kung fu abilities. So, like, you see her kick a spear and she just perfects it. That's just because
Is
she's
that in
one.
the original?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. This is a big
I
kind
only
of a change.
saw.
And
Okay.
so I was looking at it, I'm
Interesting.
like, because the reason why I like the original is because she was just basically, she took her father's place. And I'm not going to rehash the story. Those who know these Disney films, they pretty much follow the main story. But obviously a son has to be, or excuse me, a man has to go, to war. But this guy, her
Hmm.
father has no, it's just daughters. And he's
Hmm.
crippled, he can't fight, and she takes his place. That's the basic Mulan story. But the reason why the
Hmm.
cartoon was so good was because it was just like this woman knew how to fight, knew how to lead, knew how to be a strategic, fighter. It wasn't any kind of magical power. She just knew. So that was kind of like, okay, I hate to say more realistic, but something that could happen. Like, she just knew she could lead and she did. Whereas that she kind of made it so she was a better fighter than everyone else. I'm like, oh, why? But yes. And she
Kind of
joins.
cheapens it a little bit, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Kind of cheapens it a little bit,
It
right?
it
Or
does. That's my point. That's why I love the cartoon because it was just
uh,
about her proving herself. But the martial
yeah,
arts scenes in this
weird.
were actually really good, and like I said, the story was still there outside of that one part. Um, but yeah, like Donnie Yen. I mean, I hate to say I felt he was wasted, but he's on a character. He's just the love interest. Obviously we know the original story, same character there. I felt like there could have been more with him. I mean, obviously, I felt like there should be more, but I know it has to focus on her family. They actually show more of a young Mulan, kind of like why, the father always favored her, taught her these things, and why she kind of rebelled. So I
Mm,
kind of like that backstory a little bit. But
mhm.
yes, so that chi thing does cheapen the story, but the story overall worked. The remake worked because, to me, it changed it up, without it did something different. Let me rephrase that. It did something different without, ruining the original. Yes, it wasn't a musical, which I was fine with. So they did something because you don't want the same thing. When you do a remake, you want something a little different. Like when we just talked about Roadhouse. What was different? Holy shit, over the top action scenes. It may not be what you want, but at least they attempted it. Uh,
I found it
so,
entertaining. Yeah.
but yeah, I like I said, I did enjoy it. I did like the differences. I thought I was fine with the new, protagonist, the witch character. But like I said, the chi does cheapen what the original is about, but it works in this story, in this world. Like it's just they didn't really go into it too much, and I'm glad because I'm like originally I'm just like, oh my god, this feels like the Force. Please don't Star Wars this shit. Please don't and they didn't, so I was kind of happy about that. Um, but I did like it, Soto. It was actually again, I did like the original story. So I did. I was kind of a fan of it. Do you want to ask about the cartoon, or are we saving this conversation for another day before we move on?
No, hold this because you're right. Like this is going to be for our Saturday situation. So,
but
it'll be perfect.
It's good.
I'll ask you on Saturday.
By the time this video gets put on YouTube, yes, the Saturday live event would already happen. The question is where I do rank this, and I did enjoy this. It is a good story. I was fine with it not being a musical. Obviously, I'm not going to say this is better than the original because it's not. A lot of these movies are going to have a hard time beating the original. Do not get me wrong. But Soto, this was acceptable enough. I think you personally would enjoy the fighting scenes.
Like Donnie Yen.
Yeah, Donnie Yen. And he, like I said, all that's good. The characters are there. You can just see them from they were good. Like I said, they just kind of took out the dragon, which they had to. They didn't make it cartoonish or campy. It was just about the martial arts and the story, which I liked. Right now, I've kind of jumped back and forth, but to be honest, I think I am going to put this at number 12. It's going to go under Happy Time Murders, and kind of above Les Mis, because I did actually enjoy this a bit. And will I watch it again? Probably. Like if it was on, like I'm not going to maybe go out and see this, but if it is on, I would watch it again for the fight scenes. I did enjoy it that much. Yes, there was a couple things they did not have to add that cheat thing. I was fine with the extra antagonist because they have kind of a bad woman, for lack of better terms, that can fight her in different style of fight scenes, which I liked. But yeah, that cheat shit was just so bad. Not that it was bad, it was not necessary. So
that's the perfect word. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Unnecessary.
Yeah. But I can't wait to hear what you need to ask me. I really can't. Now I'm kind of going to be curious about this. But yeah.
I know it's like a tease for our live show. If you want to,
the live show has already happened. So if you hear this, go back.
That's going to be go back and watch it. But if you really want to see how crazy we fucking get, just watch those videos because shit's going to get off the rails. That's a tease right there.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait. So
I don't know where we're going to go.
we don't know where we're going to go, but we're going to go somewhere. But yeah, Soto, so I wanted to continue this Disney live action remake. And so I went to another one of my favorites. Like I said, Aladdin's probably up there, top two. The Lion King, Aladdin, Mulan, always, like I said, I just love the music. I love the story. So yes, I saw
I love that.
The live action Aladdin 2019.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh my God. I called it.
Well, I did text you that I saw it. And I don't know if you forgot, but
I might have. I mean, I do drink a lot.
I know. So anyhow,
I might have forgotten.
So I had to see this for a couple of reasons. First, yes, I love the original Aladdin. It is so great. The music's great. Again, I say another story from top to bottom. I played this all the time at Blockbuster. Like I said, with Mulan, Lion King, all the time. It was directed by Guy Ritchie, which, take it or leave it.
I saw that, yeah.
So, Soto, obviously, everyone knows Will Smith stars as the genie. I'm going to kind of start a little bit off that. This is hard. I love, and I know you love, Robin Williams. Robin Williams, you cannot replace this guy. So I kind of knew, like, okay, I will give Will Smith a chance, but he's not going to get to the Robin Williams. There's no way he can. I'm like,
Robin Williams is his own thing. Yeah, you can't do it.
So I'm like, but I'm trying to separate these remakes from the original. It's hard because obviously you have to compare them. But like my enjoyment, like I said, Mulan, I enjoyed. Yes, I love the Disney one more, or the cartoon. Excuse me. Obviously, they're both Disney, but the live action one did a great job. Could have done better, but it was a fine remake. And I will say this. So Aladdin starts off kind of similar to what the cartoon starts off. If you remember, it's the old guy kind of telling the story, voiced by Robin Williams. Then he breaks into that opening song. So similar, Will Smith is seeing two children on the boat, about to tell them the story, and he starts singing the same song. So I know Will Smith is a singer. I prefer Robin Williams singing than what Will. Well, he's a rapper. Professionally, whether you like him or hate him, he has put out musical albums throughout the 90s and 80s.
I would say he was singing on those albums.
No, okay, he was rapping, but okay. Yes.
He was, yes.
All right, you know what? You're right. You were right. You're not singing. So I 100%. Once he started singing, I'm like, oh no. I'm already done. I am so done. I'm like, nope, give it a chance. Give this a chance. This is just one bad song.
Oh God.
Yeah, no.
You hate this, and I definitely hate this.
Oh no. I don't want to make you watch this, but I kind of do at times, just so you know. So anyhow.
Oh.
So no. Yes, all right. So the movie kind of starts off a lot, plays the same hits that it does in the cartoon. So there's not much changes. The actors that they got played for Aladdin and Jasmine were fine. I will admit they were fine. I'm not. They were. It's hard to play a cartoon character, but I had no problem. The actor, or I shouldn't even say the actor, the character of the Sultan, if you remember in the cartoon, was kind of a goofy character.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The Sultan.
No, I got you.
We're going to get to Jafar in a second.
But roly-poly guy. With
but he was goofy. He loved his daughter. Jasmine, don't leave the goofiness was gone. And the character, and I'm not going to blame the actor, but I'm just like, it did not feel like the same character. Like, the goofiness is why you fell in love with this character. And, he could easily get manipulated by Jafar's, staff. Yeah, this was just, he was so plain. And I felt so bad for this actor. And I wanted to see that goofiness. It wasn't there. Let's get to Jafar. Now,
what about Jafar's bird?
No. I'm gonna get to that.
Oh no!
Just hold on.
I'm so scared.
No, don't be scared about the bird. Let's stick with Jafar. Obviously, in the cartoon, the voice menacing. Jafar is so it's perfect in Aladdin. This guy, I have to blame the actor because the voice isn't there. He doesn't look menacing. Like he wouldn't scare shit. And I'm like, Jafar was horrible. So to the best characters.
Yes, he was.
Oh no, hold on. And then you get to the genie. Oh, I'm gonna get the genie last because I'm gonna have so many problems. Yes, Yago. It's more of a real parrot than what the Gilbert Gottfried, so it doesn't talk as much, but does say like words. So it's not. He'll repeat a couple things, but you know how Yago in the cartoon said like sentences.
Yeah.
Here it's just like
yes.
So it was very short, so they didn't overdo it. So when this movie starts and you think the best characters are the bird, the monkey, and the fucking tiger, there is a problem. The animals I was fine with. I'm like, they kind of nailed it. They toned down, Yago, because you can't, Gilbert Gottfried, hit or miss, but still, they didn't overdo it. Abu is great. I know it's just a fucking monkey. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God, these should not be the best characters. So yes, the story, everyone knows. The songs, I just weren't hitting. The song should hit, but yeah. So Aladdin,
is a whole new world in this.
Now the whole new world is the one song they nailed. That scene, the actors and actors, no, but I mean, because the other songs, there's just something off, and it's very slight, and a little bit change of the song. But I will admit, a whole new world they nailed, not just from the singing, but from just the scenery and everything, the magic carpet, everything was perfect. I would say if they did one thing right, it was that. But a lot of the other songs, even like A Friend Like Me. Again, I'm like, I need Robin Williams to sing this. When he turns into Prince Ali and they have everyone parade, which that actually started off really good. I'm like, okay, that was the first song. I'm like, I feel like this is the cartoon. This is good. And then there's a part halfway. And Will Smith does this thing and kind of stops. I'm like, no, why are we stopping the song? Why? And I got mad. And then they continued. I'm like, you just ruined it. But luckily, A Whole New World saved it. Like I said, if there's one thing you're going to watch, I was fine with that. I'm like, this was perfect. And I do say perfect. Like I mean, I can't nitpick a thing about it. They added 2 songs for the Jasmine. I don't know if that actress, because that actress can sing, and I was like, damn. But they added these 2 original songs, which she did fine with. Felt out of place in this movie. I felt so bad. Like she belted it, and I'm like, wow, she's got a voice. I was impressed. But then the tonality of the film, you're just like, oh, it just doesn't fit. And I felt bad, but I felt like they added songs so she could have like some solo songs. So,
Mm.
but then yes, the genie, Will Smith. The
Oh God.
character kind of was a little
Looking back,
different. Like the whole thing was, well, that wish has a lot of gray area, and that the way it was just. If this was '90s Will Smith when he was doing Independence Day, Men in Black, when he was at his top, when he was funny,
Oh my God,
peak,
peak Will
peak,
Smith.
I think he might have been able to pull that off. Yeah, all right. So I'm like, I would have been okay with that. This is horrible. This is one of the worst. So I will say this, Soto. The second half of this film, though, got better because it was
Yeah.
less Will Smith. It got so much better because then Aladdin and Jasmine could shine a
Wow.
little bit. Because remember, it's the story like, oh, they find out Aladdin, she finds out Aladdin is a street rat, not this prince. So I'm like,
I know.
it did
I
pick up a
know.
little bit and it got more enjoyable because they less Will Smith. Oh yeah, by the way, let me just spoil this for you because really, I'm just gonna do this. The genie,
I've
Will
seen Aladdin.
Smith, has a love arc in this movie. Do you
What?
remember that in the? Oh yeah, so obviously before a
Was
whole
that the
new.
original one?
Oh no! Did the genie fall in love with a woman because he can make himself human?
Oh.
So if you remember, so he always looked like
Ah.
he was on Prince Ali's side, but a human person. And
Yes.
Prince Jasmine
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
this handmaid, next to her, who kind of had eyes, and it was fine at first. But yeah, so
What?
so
Why?
basically to get Prince Ali alone or Aladdin alone with Jasmine, he takes the handmaid for a walk. They're talking, they kind of fall in love, or and what happens is,
Oh
obviously she doesn't know he's a genie yet, mind you. And then when
my
the big thing
God.
when Jafar gets the lamp, and the genie has to make these wishes, she kind of realizes what's going on. And then
No, I don't like.
it follows
Oh.
the same thing. Aladdin frees him at the end. A different joke about which the original wish for denial. No, perfect in the beginning. This one a dumbass joke, but then Genie looks at the hand, because now he went to human. If that was it, he turned back to human because he was free.
Oh.
And so the two of them go off, they have a life, and you find out that he's telling that story at the beginning to his 2 kids, their 2 kids. They kind of go back to that. So, yes, the Genie and Will Smith have a fucking love story because it wasn't the original. Why not give Will Smith something more to do? So, yeah, this movie.
Like this at all. This is thumbs down for me. I
Oh,
didn't
it
watch
was
this movie.
100%. But like I said, the actors who played Aladdin and Jasmine were fine. Like they were, the songs just outside a whole new world. There's just it didn't hit. Jafar should have been more menacing. The animals are great. The CGI, the animals are great. But in the second half did pick. Got a little better because no Will Smith. So they did not need to remake this. I don't know why Guy Ritchie decided to do this. I wish they didn't get Will Smith. I wish they didn't do it, but just Will Smith just did not fit the direction they took because the genie's kind of one of the big characters there. So that's the question you asked, Soto, because this is going to be interesting. Where do I rank this? And you kind of know this is going towards the bottom, not the very bottom. I will say that.
No,
Because there
we
was
know
some
that.
redeeming values. Like I said,
Okay.
they sung the two main the actor and actress sung fine. Just the songs are just poorly cut or out of place for Jasmine's sake. So do I put this? Now I want you to listen to what I'm about to say because this almost goes full circle to something that started. I'm putting this at 26. Now, mind you, I've done 31 films. I am putting this underneath the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles remake. I would rather watch the Turtles remake than Aladdin. But I am putting Aladdin over Beetlejuice because I actually would rather watch Aladdin than Beetlejuice. That is where I stand.
Jesus
I
Christ.
you need to see this movie. You
That's
need to watch
so
it with Sarah.
bad. No, I don't want to. Oh my God. You're making it sound worse every fucking week we talk
I
about
sat
this.
here and I was
You
thinking
needed
when I
that.
looked at my list because I knew it was going to bottom. Like, kind of the bottom four. I'm like, no, the bottom four is like bad for different, like even kind of pregnant lift. I'm like,
Oh
you
no.
know, a killer movie
Oh
under the bed. I'm
no.
like bad. Then I'm looking at Beetlejuice because I'm like, I would rather watch the Turtles than Aladdin because I'm like, yes, they ruined my childhood, but I'm like, but they had fun action scenes. Like, I'm not saying I want to watch it again, but if I had to choose, I'm like, I'll
Ugh.
watch the Turtles. And then I'm looking, I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do Beetlejuice. I felt they ruined it, and not to say they didn't ruin Aladdin. I just ruined Beetlejuice so much more. You know,
And
I
I
know you
already
said
don't
your
like
wife
Tim
likes
Burton. So
Tim
it's like,
Burton.
oh,
I kind of
I
just need you to watch me. I know you don't want to. I kind of just need you to watch it with Sarah. The two of you just watch it and just tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You
no,
know, I
you're
mean, I know
no,
it's my
I know you're
opinion.
right. I know you're right. I know you're right.
Well,
So I don't want to watch it because I know you're right. I know it's going to suck ass. Like, and I can picture how it's going to suck ass, and I don't want any part of it. Now, I mean, I feel like I have to, but I'm going to hate every minute. I stopped giving a fuck about Tim Burton years ago. Like, I'm talking like maybe 15 to 20 fucking years ago. Like, I stopped giving a shit about Tim Burton. So anything that's new Tim Burton currently, oh,
I know, and this is
I
just
don't care.
like I
I
said.
I
And
I
I know I said this
I
might
watch
be.
it as an
I think
experiment,
you
but
need to. I
that's
think you need to. You know, I mean, we got a
uh,
full year. I'm not. You know,
we got plenty of room. We got
Has Sarah
plenty of
seen it?
room.
Because I know she's a
I
Tim Burton.
don't know. I
Does she?
feel like she may have seen it on her own, but we get into like arguments about Tim Burton
Oh, I know
because
you guys do. I know
she
you
loves
guys do.
Tim
You
Burton.
told
She
me,
loves
but
Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd is her shit, and that's really more of a Johnny Depp thing. But um,
correct. I need to see Sweeney Todd. I
I
should put that on my list. I'm curious.
dude,
But
you have to. I mean, I don't think it's first of all, it's a musical,
I
bitch. Like you
know,
like musicals.
that one slipped through the cracks. But yeah, Soto. I mean, so I'm going to continue this. I feel like there's a couple other Disney remakes. I'm just curious. Like I said, Mulan, I was fine with them remaking. You know, it was different.
Shut up.
You know, yes, not musical, a couple small changes, but overall, what if you look at it just as a film, I was fine with Mulan. Yes, not perfect, but had good martial arts scenes, had the basic story like the
Yeah.
original. Aladdin, though, oh my god, it was just I even if I look at it, it's hard again not to compare it, but looking at its own, I'm just like the songs weren't there outside of a whole new world. They nailed. I felt like obviously they had to, but not just the singers, but like the scene,
You have to.
the sets and the scenery were perfect. Like I loved it. Like I will say that right now. Um, yeah, I was fine with them. You know, like it was beautiful, but yeah, it was just when the Sultan was just not goofy and Jafar was not menacing, and when the animals are the best, but like Abu was perfect. Like I in the carpet. I know the carpet's not real, but I'm like they nailed it. Like it looked like a character. I felt like it was part of the movie, just like the cartoon. You just feel like it's real. So I was fine with a lot of the non-human shit in Aladdin outside of the genie. Will Smith as the genie was the worst fucking choice. I mean, you can't do it without Robin Williams. I don't know who else could have done it. Um, you know, but if they would have made it in the
She
90s,
should have
maybe. You
should
know,
have
Will
done.
Smith would have worked
Should
better
have.
when he was more, you know, because the one thing about the original Aladdin, and obviously Robin Williams improv so many lines. You know, the pop
Yes.
culture references,
Genius.
you know, he can do it. The what they
Fucking
tried to
genius.
do here was a little cringe, and I'm just like, oh. And like I said, the second half was better than the first because it was less Will Smith. But yeah, so I will watch Aladdin over Beetlejuice any day. You gave me those two choices, I'm telling you right now, I'm watching Aladdin. I'm gonna try my best to sing the songs. I don't ever want to see Beetlejuice again. It's not the
Ah,
worst thing I've seen because Jenna Turry saves it, and there is a couple scenes with Mike, but no, I don't want to. I don't want to. It's not the worst thing, but it should have been
damn,
so
dude.
much better. Should have been so much better, and I'm
Damn.
disappointed. But yeah, I
Mhm.
don't know what Disney movies. I think I'm going to continue this road. I do want to see a couple others, just out of
Like what?
curiosity. Well, I hear Beauty and the Beast is one of the better ones, so I want to see if that's true. You know, because
Is
obviously
that a
that's
live
hard to
action
do.
of Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, Emma Watson. I think.
Ugh.
I know. I
Uh,
just hear it was more well done.
fucking making monies.
And
This is
that's
the
all they do.
Disney.
But even though
Ugh.
it's not a remake, I think I might also want to see Mufasa, which is an original story at least. So I'm just more curious about that. That's now new on Disney Plus. Um,
What
I
is
do
there to
love
say
live.
about Mulan?
It's just him
What is there
growing
to
up.
say?
Say what?
Oh my god. It's like, did anybody ask for this shit? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I hate about Disney. It's like, I didn't ask for this shit. I don't care about Mufasa and what it was like for him to grow up. I don't fucking care. They just make these things to fucking like steal money from people. They're like, "Oh, do you remember your childhood?" Well, what if we had Mufasa's backstory as an entire movie? Sounds boring as fuck. I don't care. I know he dies. Sorry, everyone. If you haven't seen Lion King, and if you're a child listening to this podcast, you shouldn't be. But
That's true too.
if you haven't seen Lion King, you should fucking Mufasa dies. I don't give a fuck. Look, we talked about this in Wicked. I'm not shitting on Wicked. Obviously, you're saying there's books, and obviously they could fill out the story. Okay, but dude, it's just a fucking money grab, man. That's all that fucking Disney. The two things we fucking get mad about the most: Star Wars and fucking Disney movies. And Disney is just being like, yeah,
And Wicked is
any
neither,
shit we
but
can.
I know that made you mad.
Because, like I said last time, like, who asked for this? Now I know
That's true.
people
No,
did,
no,
and I'm
I'm
sorry
not.
for that.
I get it. I know it was a book first, and
They're
then
like,
yes, the
oh,
musical. But
the backstory of this thing that. Oh, don't you want to know how they got there? I don't. It's wonderful when it's a mystery. I'm sorry. I don't care if you disagree with me and you're listening to this. I don't give a fuck. Leave it in the comments. But some shit should just be a fucking mystery. Okay, that's just it. Just a fucking let it fucking be. That's it.
to
All right, that's my
be
random. I'm
or
like,
not to be. Anyhow, that will do it for episode of the
I choose
200
to
movie
be.
challenge. Let us know what you thought of any of the movies we watched today. Let us know anything that we should watch. You know, like I said, I'm probably gonna do a couple more. I don't want to do all of them, but I'm just curious. I'm curious why they're doing this. Yes, I know it's a money grab, but there's got to be one that's kind of worth it. You know, like I said, Mulan was kind of there. You know, I'm not gonna say it was definitely there, but
No, I can see that. I
yeah,
can see that.
you
I can
know, it's a
definitely see
different
that.
story. But yeah, they have what live action Lion King, live action Little Mermaid, Cinderella. I know I'm probably missing a few. I'm not seeing all of
Uh,
these. I might just do a couple more and
uh,
call it a day. Um,
yeah.
but I might do Beauty and the Beast only because I hear that's kind of the best one, and I'm just curious why. That's why
I mean,
because I'm like it's.
I
I go
yeah.
back to Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. Why it started this? Everyone was shitting on it before it even came out. And I'm just like, is it that
Mhm.
bad? You know, did we ask for it? No, we didn't ask for it, but it's here, Soto. And sometimes that's what we have to do. That's
Yeah.
why we're here.
Who asked for
Anyhow,
this? Nobody asked for this.
go watch whatever movies you want, people. Have a good one.
Oh man, dude, that's another